Hello friends, it's Brandy with Stick It Down. Thank you so much for joining me today as I create with the November single page sketch. The first thing I notice about the sketch is that there are two square photos that are matted in black. And I thought that would be fun to go ahead and do that on this layout. I also noticed the film strips, and I just happen to have a die from Hip Kit Club that has one, kind of, I guess, a big film strip and a small film strip. So I haven't used them a whole lot, and I thought this would obviously be the perfect time to pull those out and use them. Here I'm going to do the mixed media on the background. It looks like in the sketch it looks like it's sprayed on or misted on, but I'm going to go ahead and use the packaging technique, and I'm using Spritz from Shimmer's Paints, and the color is A Chance of Rain, and it's just this beautiful deep blue, not quite black, but it's a very pretty blue-gray color. So I started off doing it full concentration, and then I decided that I needed to add just a little bit of water to it because it was darker than I really wanted it to be for the whole thing. So I'm finishing up right there, and obviously, I guess, or maybe it's not obvious to you guys, but I'm using doing an 8.5 by 11 layout. So I thought about leaving this part out, but I figured I would go ahead and put it in here. I wanted to do a little test run with this because when you do mixed media, it kind of warps the page just a little bit, and I didn't use any gesso or anything on it. So I wanted to run it through a laminator because it's hot, and I thought maybe that would work kind of like an iron and flatten it out just a little bit, but it didn't work. All I did was end up putting it in there slightly crooked, and it ended up wrinkling my page up and leaving a couple of wrinkles there at the bottom that you can clearly see, but I'm just going to leave it. I was not going to start over. It's fine. It's not bothering me too much, especially after the whole thing gets done, which honestly, I don't have a whole lot left to do. I'm also using one of the Paige Evans. This is a 6x6 paper pack, Whimsical, and I'm not adding anything else outside all of the pattern paper, which isn't a lot, just that one ombre piece of yellow that I used the strips with, that I cut the film strips out with, and then this blue flowery piece over here to the right that you also see. I'm going to do another die cut bow with that, and then I'm cutting this little tag out here and some word phrase strips out, and that's basically going to be it for the embellishments on this layout. But I'm getting all of this stuff from that 6x6 paper pack, and I've used it very little. I've had it for a little while now. I've used very little of it, and I always think it's fun for these sketches, for these sketch challenges, to pull out some of this old stuff that I'm not really reaching for on a regular basis. So it was nice. It was nice to be able to also create a layout without having just a whole lot of stuff on it. So here's that bow, the bow die, and I normally go ahead and when I get a new die, and I take all of the pieces apart, but I pretty much knew that with this one I was always going to cut all of the pieces out of the same piece of, or the same pattern paper. I wasn't going to change it up, so I haven't taken that die apart yet, and now I'm just putting the bow together. I have two options for the ribbon that goes behind the bow, and I'm deciding to, instead of using that piece there that looks like a V, I'm going to use the other piece instead. And I thought I wanted it down there in the bottom right, but I'm going to change my mind on that also. I'm actually going to slide it up at the top and put it at the top right of the page because I feel like there just needs to be a little something extra up there in that little section. Also, I don't normally journal on my page, but for this one, I thought that it would be nice to have some journaling down there on the bottom where I'm trying to put the bow at right there. So I'm going to go off camera and do that once I get this bow glued down. So if you guys aren't familiar with Stick It Down, you should check us out on Facebook. I'll leave a link in the description box of this video. And every month we have a single page sketch, a double page sketch, and a card sketch. And if you jump in and decide to play along with us, then you have an opportunity to be a guest designer with us. So I would like to encourage all of you guys to come join us and check it out and play along. We love to see all of your creations. And that wraps up another layout. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you have a lovely crafty day. Bye-bye.